In today's video, I wanted to talk about the Mega Evolution Pokemon Center pre-order drop that happened yesterday. I found it kind of interesting and I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts. But before I do, I want to hear your guys' opinion. So leave a comment below. Let me know if you were able to, first off, hit any sort of product, and then give me your opinion on the drop and kind of how it went for you. It seemed a little different to me, and what I was seeing online seemed a little different for the most part. And I just kind of wanted to talk about if we were taking a step in the right direction, at least from the Pokemon Center side, because I did find it interesting, mainly because my experience was a little different than normal. I actually got caught a little bit off guard when it came to this drop. I actually was out taking my dog on a walk, and I was about 30 minutes from my house when the drop happened, maybe about 25 minutes actually. And the drop went live, the queue went live. I was out, so I started heading back. But I got in on my phone, got in on the queue. I was not able to get through the queue, and I did get in like pretty quickly as soon as like the queue went live. So I was pretty much towards the front, and I felt like we should have went through it fairly quick-ish. However, by the time I got home, I was like, okay, it might be cooked. It's over. I'm not going to get anything, which is fine. I just accepted it. But, I turned on the computer, got in the queue again. And surprisingly, it took me a while to get through the queue. There was over 1 million people in the queue. But I was like, well, whatever. Let's just see what's going on. And, that was, for me, a pretty high number to get through from my experiences in the past. But we went through the queue, and it took a while. It was going slow. I think it took me maybe 45 minutes, probably closer to 45 minutes to get through. And by the time I got through, this was the interesting part that I found, was the booster bundles were gone. And in the past, it seems like booster bundles and booster boxes for a normal set that has ETBs and everything, almost always the booster boxes were gone as well. However, when I got through, they were still available, to my surprise, and things went just a little more smoothly once I got through. And like I said, I got through on desktop. I did not get through on mobile. I actually have not had good success on mobile the last few drops at all. But I was able to easily just add, it was right there when the Mega Evolution thing popped up, and I just clicked on it. I added one of each ETB and a booster box, and then I checked out as a guest, and I just typed in my information, and I didn't use any autofill, anything like that. I didn't even risk like signing into my account because I didn't want it to I wanted it to go through, right? And to my surprise, everything went smoothly. Now, before on the other drops, it seemed like once you got through, it was real laggy for the checkout process. And what I was seeing online was a lot of success of people having the same, getting a booster box and both ETBs if they wanted them. Now, this was something I was seeing on Discord. This was something I was seeing on Instagram, and Reddit, and kind of all over the place. So that's why I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion. And while this one didn't last quite as long, as far as how long the ETBs were available, it looked like it was just a little bit over 2 hours. But it seemed like, well, albeit I'm sure there were tons of people who missed out on that drop. Like, not everyone is able to, drop what they are doing and try and hit the drop. But if you were able to, it seemed like for the most part, it went smoother. Like I said, that's just been my experience. Maybe I just got lucky, but that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Like, is this a step in the right direction? And I wanted to talk about like the booster box being available, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. But like, did they print more of the booster box? Are they changing like how things are allocated as far as like, are they keeping more for themselves on the Pokemon Center side to sell directly and less through distribution? I don't know, but that's just an observation that I had made because I was not able to hit at a booster box of any of the other sets recently, since the hype has started. So I did find that very interesting. And like I said, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's why I kind of wanted to have a little bit of a conversation in the comments as far as how it went. And yeah, so the booster bundles, they went the quickest. And then it looked like, the booster box and then ETBs shortly after that. But I do know that I was seeing other people as well go through, and I did experiment with this as well. I was able to get through the queue a second time as well, just to see if they were still available. And by the time I got through a second time, product was still available. All three were still available again. I was not able to make a second purchase, but they were still available. So that seemed like that kind of boded well. You could have gotten, at that point, the everything would have been live for well over an hour. I think closer to an hour 15, maybe an hour 20. And I was able to get through the queue again, and the queue seemed like it moved faster the second time. So it seemed like at least it might have been a step in the right direction. Temporarily unavailable. But it seemed like it was a step in the right direction. As far as that went, like I said, maybe it went a little quicker because we had seen other sets, the ETBs, some of them, depending on the drop, right? Where it was like, okay, well, you had like a 5-hour window to get PC ETBs. So this one was shorter, but it seemed like just more product available and a lot of people hitting both ETBs and a booster box. So I just wanted to, like I said, I don't know, maybe I'm delirious and I'm like seeing it just from my one side, but it seemed like it went smooth. And I do think that that's a step in the right direction as far as this set goes, and maybe future releases. Maybe they're able to pump up their print numbers for initial print runs because, things first started to get crazy after Surging Sparks and then kind of really with Prismatic. But at this point, Prismatic was like over 6 months ago. So maybe they were able to adjust the numbers, and this is the first set that is launching that has maybe a little bit higher allocation, and they were able to print a little bit more. We won't really know that until the future, but it just seemed interesting to me that it just seemed like it was too easy. Like, is this a trick? Like, that's what I was like. I got a booster box and both ETBs, and it was easy, and then I got through the queue again. Like, what? I don't know. It just seemed like it was too easy. So at the end of the day, I got one of each product besides the booster bundle, which is totally fine with me, and I was happy with that. And like I said, I was seeing a lot of success from other people as well. So it's just like I said, let me know if you guys agree and or disagree with kind of how that's been, how that went. And then we still haven't seen, TCG Player has not posted. We can't see secondary market stuff for TCG Player, but we have been able to see as far as like what stuff has been going for on the secondary market. We are seeing stuff now pop up on eBay, and I'm going to pull that up in 1 second, just kind of see where the Pokemon Center ETBs have been going, just out of curiosity. We'll take a look at that on the secondary market. And let's see, we'll pull that up right now. So this is currently what we've been seeing. This is that little bundle. It kind of seemed like it was a bundle, right? And it maybe, like I said, I don't know if it would be too easy. I guess maybe not to list them all in one thing, but this was essentially the bundle, which is about $300-ish MSRP for everything, I think. And you can see somebody reselling their pre-order right here, somebody with no feedback, so keep that in mind. $550 plus shipping, but we're seeing PC ETBs go for $180 and $175. That doesn't seem too crazy to me out the gate on the secondary market. So you can see also here's a pair going for $320. So that's currently what we're seeing. Here's one as low as 150 for the Mega Evolution ETBs. We'll type in booster boxes specifically and see if we can get a better idea of kind of where things have been going. Oh, it's already unsold listings. Perfect. So 289, let's see, 270, 275. So once again, this is coming off of some of these. Here's a 600 for the bundle. This is what we're seeing on the secondary market as of now. We did see prices really high for Destined Rivals, for the booster boxes and ETBs, and the closer we got to release, the more the prices dropped. We've only seen, to my knowledge, Best Buy, which seems like it may have gotten heavily botted, because Best Buy doesn't seem like they really care as far as the drops go. Best Buy dropped all their stuff first, and it went like lickety split. And so I don't know how much of the bots gobbled that up, but that went quick. And then the Pokemon Center thing at least took a few hours, and people had good success. But that's the only pre-orders that we have seen, at least to my knowledge, as far as retailers go. I don't think anyone with distribution has really listed anything or has allocation numbers, and they're probably waiting to list that stuff. Once they get their allocation numbers, I would assume they would want to play that safe. But so yeah, currently booster boxes in the mid to upper $200 range on the secondary market. And if, like I said, if that's anything like Destined Rivals, that should come down closer to release. But we'll have a better idea of kind of how that's going to shake out closer to release. So we still have a ways out on that, but it was nice to see. I don't know. It's just it just felt good, and that's kind of why I wanted to make this video as just like a little bit of a follow up. It felt good. It felt different, and like I said, it felt like am I being punked here? Like, am I being tricked? I can just buy this product. I because I was early-ish, not even early. I was early. I mean, I was early on my phone, and it didn't work. So, and I was on an iPhone, and I was on the Chrome browser. But was not, and I did not swipe away from that browser the entire time, and I was not able to get through. So if you're doing mobile, maybe desktop is the way. I don't know. Like I said, but I've also heard people have it the other way, have it work for them, where desktop doesn't work, but mobile does. So I guess it really just depends. But yeah, also it is really nice on the desktop. I just on Chrome was able to right click inspect and then see my position in line and just kind of see like how quickly things were moving. Even though it was slow, it's nice to see like, okay, I am moving up in the queue. So that does make you feel better as far as that goes. So anyways, that's all we have for you guys in this one. A little bit different video, but I just kind of wanted to talk about that. And like I said, I'm going to be going through your guys' comments, seeing if you guys agree and or disagree with that, because I did find it interesting. And we'll see as we get closer to the launch in September of this product if things are a little different. So anyways, I'm rambling. I'm starting to repeat myself a little bit, so we're going to end it there. That's all I have for you guys in this one. I'll catch you in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.